On the same day in which we got the news of Patrick Kane signing with the Detroit Red Wings, we now have a trade to discuss. It's nothing crazy, but I thought it was noteworthy enough to make a quick video on and give you guys my thoughts. So the full details of the trade: the Vancouver Canucks have sent forward Anthony Beauvillier to the Chicago Blackhawks, and the return is a 5th round draft pick. There is no salary retention on Anthony Beauvillier, who is in the final year of his contract. He's set to become a UFA at the end of the season and carries a cap hit of $4.15 million. This is nothing more than a pure cap dump for the Vancouver Canucks. It gives them the cap flexibility that they so desperately needed, and they didn't have to attach a draft pick or a prospect to unload Beauvillier's contract, which is always a bonus. In this case, they actually get a mid-round draft pick in return. In a perfect world, would the Vancouver Canucks have liked to keep Anthony Beauvillier? I'm sure they would have. He's a solid player, but he's having a down year. Just 2 goals for Beauvillier in 22 games with Vancouver. That's not the production you're looking for from a guy who makes $4.15 million. Another guy in the Vancouver Canucks whose name has been floating around in trade rumors for a long time now is Connor Garland. He's somebody that everyone was pointing to as a contract that Vancouver could be looking to unload to free up some cap space, get more cap flexibility, but I honestly think they made the right decision here moving on from Beauvillier as opposed to Garland, because Garland makes more. He has a cap hit of, I believe, $4.95 million, has 2 years left after this season on that contract as well. That's one of those players where if the Vancouver Canucks were going to trade him, they would likely have to add a draft pick or a decent prospect to sweeten the deal to get a team to take that contract on. In making this trade, you avoid the headache. You get a 5th round draft pick in return. By making this trade, the Vancouver Canucks accomplished what they wanted to do, and that is free up cap space at a minimal cost. Let's now shift focus and talk a little bit about this deal from the point of view of the Chicago Blackhawks. A lot of you may be thinking, what are the Blackhawks doing here, giving up a draft pick for a 26-year-old veteran forward in the current stage of their rebuild? Obviously, they are not in a position to be buyers right now by any means. That being said, I'm actually a fan of this move for the Blackhawks, getting a guy like Anthony Beauvillier for pennies on the dollar. The odds of a 5th round draft pick turning out to be anything of consequence are exceptionally low. By making this trade, you now replenish the roster a little bit that has lost Taylor Hall for the remainder of the season. Corey Perry is gone now as well. We learned today that they terminated his contract. Not going to get into those rumors. I'm sure you've all heard them. Andreas Athanasiou is also out of the lineup right now due to injury. Even though the Chicago Blackhawks' goal isn't to win this season, you still have to surround Connor Bedard with, at the very least, competent NHL players, guys that are capable of playing in the top 6. And although Anthony Beauvillier, on a contending team probably isn't a top line forward, on the Chicago Blackhawks, he's already one of their better forwards. This is a guy who scored 20 goals in a season before, came close on multiple other occasions, including 3 18-goal seasons. Despite the fact that he's having a down year, this is a guy that has skill. He knows how to put the puck in the net, and with Chicago acquiring him this early, it gives them the ability to maybe play him with somebody like Connor Bedard, give him top line minutes, give him time on the first power play unit, and try to inflate his stats a little bit to increase his value, and then look to trade him around the deadline, maybe retain some salary, and all of a sudden, potentially you could get a draft pick or prospect in return that's more valuable than a 5th. I think this is a tidy bit of business by the Chicago Blackhawks, taking advantage of Vancouver's cap situation and getting a player like Anthony Beauvillier for, like I said, pennies on the dollar. So those are pretty much all of my thoughts on the Anthony Beauvillier trade to the Chicago Blackhawks. As always, I want to know what you guys are thinking, especially if you're a fan of either the Vancouver Canucks or the Chicago Blackhawks. As a Vancouver fan, is there somebody else in the lineup that maybe you would have liked to see go in a cap dump move instead of Beauvillier? If you guys enjoyed this quick trade breakdown, please be sure to leave the video a like. That is the best way to show your support. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want NHL content just like this all year round, hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you all again soon.